What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. Phillies, they take 2 of 3 against the Detroit Tigers. Very weird series, I'll say. Two of the games, the offense definitely carried the load, specifically a couple of people. If you go to Monday's game, and we were live during the Monday game, during the Stanley Cup Final Game 7 watch, it was basically just BRYCE HARPER and Alec Bohm carrying the offense for the entirety of the first game in that Phillies hefty win. Yesterday's game was definitely, I guess you could say, a pitcher's duel in some senses. It was Ranger Suarez against Tarek Skubal. And Ranger Suarez, he had one inning where he gave up 4 earned runs. And a lot of that was accounted to the defense behind him. There were some mistakes, Trey Turner, Alec Bohm, all that stuff. Phillies ended up losing yesterday's game by a score of 4-1. BRYCE HARPER with the lone run for the Phillies. And for this afternoon's game, definitely very frustrating to start off. Phillies had a lot of chances to score some early runs, get a lot of runs on the board early. Bases loaded, nobody out. You only score 1 run. Then you have 2 base runners on, no outs in the top of the second, and I don't believe you score at all. But thankfully for Brandon Marsh and his ability to drive in runs for today's game, he drove in 4 RBIs, so that helped you out a lot. And, Spencer Turnbull, he was on the mound today, but he left the game with right shoulder soreness, so he only went 3 innings. So the Phillies bullpen did come up huge for you. A lot of guys, just pitching an inning. Really, it was just Jose Alvarado was the one that got damaged up a little bit, looked a little bit rusty on the mound, just because I guess he hasn't been used in the past couple of days. So I guess, he's just working the rust off. But overall, it turns out to be a series win. Definitely a series win on the road that you desperately needed, because this Phillies team hasn't won a series on the road in quite some time. Definitely like over a month at this point. I think the last time they won a series was that, home and home 4-game set against the Mets, where they won those first 2 games in Citi Field. I think that was the last time the Phillies, quote-unquote, won a series on the road. I do believe they played the Marlins before that series on the road, so technically, if you want to count a 3-game series, it would be that Marlins series, but if you want to count the Mets series, it was May 14th, if I'm not mistaken, and then basically since then, it's been series losses on the road, and really haven't been able to gain any momentum on the road, specifically besides, your dominance at Citizens Bank Park, which can't go understated. But yeah, this is definitely a huge series win on the road. Like I said, what this team desperately needed. And yeah, find a way to get some confidence on the road. Pitching-wise, Nola was really sharp on Monday. Got out of a huge jam on a 1-3-5 triple play. Nothing that you really see every day, so that was always nice to see. Ranger Suarez, like I said, the defense really didn't help him out in yesterday's ball game, so kind of deserved the better fate there. The offense really didn't do anything against Tarek Skubal, and he has been nasty this year for Detroit. He's one of the best pitchers in the American League for a reason, so I'll just chalk it up to that. You got dominated by a really good pitcher in the American League. And for today, Spencer Turnbull, he allowed the leadoff home run to Matt Vierling out of all people, so that kind of sucks. But that was his lone run allowed in the game before he left with the shoulder soreness. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in that case, because I believe his next start is scheduled for Monday, and the Phillies are off Monday, so technically it would be Tuesday, that first game in that road series against the Chicago Cubs. And I do believe Corey Seidman posted something out there that since the Phillies do have a day off on Monday, that they can push the rotation back and force Zack Wheeler to pitch on normal rest for that first game against the Chicago Cubs. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Turnbull and all that stuff, because Taijuan Walker isn't eligible to come back to the mound before then because he's on the 15-day IL. So I wonder what the Phillies do in that case. Maybe this Mercado kid that they called up, maybe he can get a look, because he's been really good as a starting pitcher down there in AAA. They just called him up because of Taijuan Walker being put on the IL. So, like I said, it's a wait-and-see process. We'll see what happens. But after this, the Phillies, they do have a 4-game series at home against the Miami Marlins, so a good chance to get a little damage there in the NL East. And I do believe you have your 4 best pitchers on the mound. Zack Wheeler tomorrow, Christopher Sanchez on Friday. Saturday will be Aaron Nola, then Sunday will be Ranger Suarez for the series finale before you have the day off, before you go on a 6-game road trip with the Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. So yeah, definitely nice home cooking for a little bit, because the first half of the season before the All-Star break is coming closer and closer and closer. And it's really not that many series after that. I think it's like 5 series now before the All-Star break, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's this 4-game set against the Cubs. Then it's the 2 games on the 2 series on the road against Chicago and the Braves, and then you come back home against the Dodgers and the Athletics. And I think after that Athletic series is the All-Star break. So it's coming up closer and closer and closer. So it's gonna be here before you know it. So definitely would like to see the Phillies go on a little bit of a run before that All-Star break, but right now their record's still in a very, very, very good spot. After today's game, they're 53-27 after this. So what is that? Around, I would say 20. I'm trying to think after this entire thing because would that be 26 games above 500 if I'm not mistaken? 53-27. Hopefully, I'm doing the math right there. It should be very easy math, but for some reason, math isn't mathing in my head right now. So I'll say, yeah, 20. I think 26 games above 500. So yeah, they're still in a very good position right now, record wise. And I'm not sure what the Braves did this week because I think they're playing in St. Louis. And I think yesterday's game with them and the Cardinals got postponed because of rain. So I'm not entirely sure what the Braves are doing right now. So that is a wait and see there as well. But overall, for specific batters in this series, there, some good at bats. Bryce Harper was really good in this series. I believe he is on an 11-game hitting streak, if I'm not mistaken. He was really good in the first game. A lot of hits there. Had a 3-run shot in the mix as well. So Bryce Harper right now looks like he's it looks like basically he's in his nuclear stretch, if all things considered right here. Bryce Harper definitely is going off, and he definitely will be, I believe, what did he win? The player of the month in the month of May, and he's definitely pushing for that back-to-back months. But I do think Shohei Ohtani might beat him out on that because Shohei Ohtani has equally, if not have been, a little bit better in the month of June than Bryce has. But both of those guys have been just equally fantastic at that point. But if we look at Monday's game, Phillies win that one by a score of 8-1. Offense basically just went off. They had 15 hits, but I also think they struck out 17 times. So that definitely is a weird game. Basically, most of the outs that they recorded were strikeouts. So definitely a weird one. Definitely a weird one. If we want to look at the first inning, the Phillies did get on the board, scored 4 runs in that top of the first inning right there. Bryce Harper drove in a couple of runs. Alec Boehm hit a 2-run shot to make the Phillies give him a 4-0 lead there. And the offense did go a little quiet for a little bit. Aaron Nola was doing his thing, but then he got that big triple play in the bottom of the third inning when the Detroit Tigers were threatening a little bit. So it was a chopper that just flew right back to Aaron Nola. I wouldn't say a chopper, just like a very soft line drive right back at Nola. Just had to easily throw up the first base, and for some reason the guy on third base for the Tigers just instantly darted home. So I guess he just had no idea what was going on in that entire process. And the third base coach's reaction for the Tigers was absolutely hilarious. He was just like, he just walked off into the dugout, just shoulders shrugged and everything. It was funny. So that triple play happened. And then the runs, they didn't come until the rest part of the game. Aaron Nola does give up a run in the bottom of the 5th to make it 4-1. But then Bryce Harper basically responded with a 3-run shot in the top of the 6th off lefty. Made it 7-1 Phillies. And then I believe Alec Boehm tacked on another run in the top of the 8th inning with an RBI double. Made it 8-1 Phillies. And that's basically the way the score ended up there. And if you want to look at the stat line for the lineup and the pitchers, Aaron Nola on Monday, he went 7 innings, 6 hits allowed, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts on 90 pitches. So very solid stuff there from Aaron Nola. Mercado, very solid MLB debut for him as well. 1 strikeout on 15 pitches through 11 strikes. And then Kerkering basically just came out there so he can get some work in and shut the game down from there. Lineup-wise, Kyle Schwarber, he went 0-for-5 on Monday with a walk. Trey Turner went 1-for-5. Bryce Harper 3-for-5 with 5 RBIs in that game with a 3-run shot. Alec Boehm, he went 4-for-5 with 3 RBIs and a 2-run shot. Nick Castellanos 1-for-4. Bryson Stott 2-for-5. Brandon Marsh 0-for-5 with 4 strikeouts. David Dahl 1-for-2. Christian Pache 1-for-2. And then Garrett Stubbs went 2-for-5 behind the plate. Phillies, they went 5-for-14 with runners in scoring position, and they left 12 runners on base. So definitely was a very good Monday while we were watching the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And for yesterday's ball game, very meh, very blah. Tarek Skubal, he dominated yesterday. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. Just pretty nasty. His ERA is at 2.32 on the season, so that basically explains the type of season that he is having out there on the mound. Ranger Suarez, he went 6 innings, allowed 9 hits and 4 earned runs, so there weren't any errors charged to the Phillies, but probably should have been because there was a mistake by there. Trey Turner at shortstop, which most likely should have been an error. So if that does get changed to an error in a scoring decision changed, most likely those earned runs will be tacked off of Ranger Suarez's stat sheet there. So I really wouldn't blame Ranger Suarez for anything there. Offense really just didn't hit, and the defense didn't help him whatsoever. Kyle Schwarber, he went 1 for 3. Trey Turner 0 for 3. Bryce Harper 2 for 4 with an RBI, the solo shot in the top of the 9th inning to get the Phillies on the board. Alec Bohm 0 for 4. Nick Castellanos 0 for 4. Sosa 0 for 3. Stott came in and went 0 for 1. Merrifield 1 for 3. Pache 0 for 3. And then Marchand 0 for 3. The Phillies only had 4 hits in that game yesterday, and Bryce Harper had half of them. So that basically describes everything there. They only had 2 chances with runners in scoring position, and that was Alec Bohm and Christian Pache. So yeah, they basically just got dominated at the plate yesterday. So chalk that one up. Tarek Skubal has been very good this season. And then if we go to today's ball game, like I said, it was a very, 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 very frustrating start offensively. Detroit was going with a bullpen game, and you had a chance to blow the game wide open early on. Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner lead off the game with singles, then Bryce Harper walks to load the bases up with no outs. Alec Bohm lines to center field. It should have been deep enough to score Kyle Schwarber from third base, but for some reason, Dusty Waltham held him up, and the throw coming in went to third base, so Schwarber should have scored there. So that was a huge mistake. Then Nick Castellanos grounded into a force out, which allowed Schwarber to score and made it 1-0. And then Stott grounded out, and you get out of that inning only scoring 1 run, which was very disgusting. Turnbull coming back on the mound for the bottom of the first, and then Matt Vierling ties the game up instantly with a leadoff shot. So 1-1 game there. Obviously, that came back to bite you in the ass. Top of the second inning, Marsh and Dahl lead off the inning with singles, then nothing happens there. Then basically the offense, they don't go quite until the top of the 4th inning. Bryson Stott leads off with a walk. This is when the Tigers are going through their many changes in the bullpen right here. Stott leads off with that walk, and then Marsh hits the 2-run shot, crushes it the other way. 3-1 Phillies. Marsh had himself a day in this game, actually. And then basically this is when Turnbull came out of the game, so the Phillies in the bottom of the 4th, they went to the bullpen. Gregory Soto basically only faced 4 batters, got out of his inning. Top of the 5th inning, Brandon Marsh with a 2-run single after Stott doubles and Castellanos singles. So it becomes a 5-1 Phillies lead after that. Ruiz, he has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Matt Strom, he faces 4 batters after an infield single. Kirkering, 1-2-3 inning for himself. David Dahl, he hits a sac fly in the top of the 8th to make it 6-1 Phillies. Jeff Hoffman, 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 8th inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th, Jose Alvarado definitely did struggle a little bit with his location. Matt Vierling led off with a double, then Ibanez drove him home with an RBI single, but then Alvarado was actually able to retire the next 3 batters after that, a ground-out flyout and a strikeout to end the ball game off. So a little rust there for Jose Alvarado, but he definitely hasn't been used in the past couple of games, so that's very understandable on that standpoint. But if you want to look at the lineup for today's game, pitching-wise, let's look at that. Spencer Turnbull, 3 innings, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts on 36 pitches. Phillies' defense was definitely much better today. Turned a couple of double plays there. Then he left with that shoulder soreness, so we'll have to wait and see what happens from that case. Gregory Soto, 2 strikeouts in his 4th inning of work. Ruiz, he gets the win in today's game. He had 2 strikeouts. Matt Strom, 18 pitches, very solid stuff. Kirkering, 13 pitches, solid stuff. Hoffman only threw 11 pitches, and then Alvarado threw 16 pitches, allowed that 1 earned run on 2 hits, and had 1 strikeout there. So I guess, it is what it is at the end of the day. Phillies, they did go 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Like I said, it was very frustrating to start the game off, but thankfully Brandon Marsh drove in those 4 RBIs in today's game. Kyle Schwarber, he went 1 for 4. Trey Turner, 2 for 5. Bryce Harper, 1 for 4 with a walk. Alec Bohm, for 5. Nick Castellanos, 1 for 4 with an RBI. And Bryson Stott, 1 for 3 with 3 runs scored in the walk. Brandon Marsh, 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a 2-run shot. David Dahl, 1 for 3 with a sac fly. And then Garrett Stubbs, he went 1 for 4 in today's game. So, series win. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And if we look at the upcoming schedule for the Philadelphia Phillies, like I said, they are playing the Miami Marlins this weekend for a 4-game series. And the pitching matchups that are set up for this 4-game set, it's going to be Zack Wheeler going up against Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers, he is 1-4 with a 4.9 ERA. Then on Friday is Christopher Sanchez. Right now, he's going up against a to-be-determined pitcher, so we'll wait and see there. Nola, it'll be on Saturday against Roddery Munoz. Roddery Munoz, he is 1-3 with a 5.8 ERA. And then on Sunday, it's Ranger Suarez against Yanni Chirinos. That is a relief pitcher, so mostly likely that'll be a bullpen type of game. But actually, in his last 2 appearances, he's gone 5 innings, so we'll see. We'll see. He's got a 2.7 ERA in his appearances this year. Munoz, he is 1-3, like I said, 5.8 ERA. Definitely a Marlins team that you can take advantage of right now. The Marlins record, they're 28 and 51. They're currently playing against the Kansas City Royals. The Marlins actually have been winning a lot recently. They won a series against the Cardinals. They won a series against the Mariners. And so far, their game against the Kansas City Royals, they're losing 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. So we'll see what happens there, but you should be able to beat this Miami Marlins team. They're not that good. 3 out of 4, I'll take that. 4-game series are hard to sweep regardless of the opponent that you play against. All that matters is you get 3 of 4. Win the series. That's the most important thing. And if we look at the standings right now in Major League Baseball, where the Phillies sit right here, they are currently 8 games above the Atlanta Braves. The Phillies are 53 and 27. The Braves are 43 and 33. The Braves, they're currently playing right now, like I said, they're winning 4-2 against the St. Louis Cardinals as we speak. Is that going to be a doubleheader for them? I got to see. Is that going to be a doubleheader for the Braves and the Cardinals today? Are they playing another game? So they lost the first game against St. Louis, so that helps out a little bit. So what's going on today? Is that a doubleheader? Yeah, they are playing a doubleheader. So they're winning the first game, and then we'll see what happens in the second game. So if the Braves were to win this first game, so basically, at worst, it'll be a 7-game lead for the Phillies. In the NL East after today, at best, it'll be 7.5. Or if the Cardinals find a way to come back and win both of these games, it'll be a 9-game lead for the Phils in the NL East. So, yeah, basically that's all that matters right there. The rest of the records in the NL East, the Mets are 38 and 39, the Nationals are 38 and 41, Brewers, they're 47 and 33, Cardinals, they're 40 and 37, Dodgers, they're 50 and 31, Padres 43 and 41, and then the rest of the divisions right there. Yankees, they're 52 and 29. The Orioles are 49 and 30. The Guardians have been playing spectacular baseball. They've won 7 in a row. They're 51 and 26. I believe right now the Guardians. Now, right now it does say the Phillies are the best team in baseball record-wise. It was the Guardians before today's game, but yeah, are the Guardians playing right now? Are they playing currently, or do they not play until tonight? Yeah, they don't play until tonight. They're playing the Baltimore Orioles. So I guess, yeah, they're winning baseball games. There's something to be said about that. No one was really expecting that Guardians team to do anything there. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely see there. Not really saying. I'm trying to see if there's anything here on Rob Thompson, Spencer Turnbull wise post game. Trying to see if there's anything there. So this is from John Foley on Twitter. Thompson says Mercado is the leading candidate for the 5th starter if Turnbull does miss time. Right now, there is no update on Turnbull yet. We'll know more tomorrow. So most likely he has to get an MRI on that shoulder soreness. And I think that's basically it in terms of updates from Rob Thompson. Don't think there's anything else here. Let's see. Don't think there's anything else. Nope. Do not think there is anything else here. Definitely going to be an interesting week because tomorrow we'll definitely have the Phillies recap for tomorrow's game against Miami. But Friday, that's going to be Flyers NHL draft focus. So we'll see what happens there in terms of everything going on, this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend, no doubt. So like I said, Phillies recap tomorrow 100%. And then Flyers NHL draft coverage, that'll happen on Friday throughout the entire night. So we probably won't have a Phillies recap on Friday. Saturday, just really depending on everything. So what are the times for these games actually this week? I'm sure tomorrow and Friday are 6:40 games if I'm not mistaken. So if I can get back to the Phillies schedule. So tomorrow's game, yep, 6:20 actually. So that's interesting. So tomorrow and Friday they're 6:20 starts, and then Saturday is 4:05, and then Sunday is 1:30. I wonder why they're 6:20. Oh, okay. They're doing the fireworks show after the game, so that's why they bumped the time up a little bit. So 6:20 starts tomorrow and Friday. Interesting. Very interesting. And then like I said, following that series against Miami, it's 6 games on the road. Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. Uh, then you'll have the Los Angeles Dodgers at home and the Oakland Athletics before the All-Star break comes around. So that'll be the case there. Yeah, not really seeing anything in terms of any more updates from Rob Thompson after the game today. So really not seeing much. Let's see. We do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline, so we might as well get to that before I get to some of you guys here in the chat. We got one from Zack right here, so might as well get to that. So what does Zack have to say about this Phillies series win?
Well, another series win for your Philadelphia Phillies, and Brandon Marsh was the guy today. Boy, he hit that one home run off the bat. I didn't think it was going out, but he did that little hop. He knew he got it. And, of course, coming through, we have 4 RBIs. He was 4 for 4 today. Great job of Marshy getting back on track after he's had a really tough stretch for a while now. But the main concern, of course, is with Spencer Turnbull out. What are we going to do with pitcher? We'll probably call up Mercado from minor leagues, give him a shot. But now this changes the trade deadline plan. They may be looking to go for a 5th starter first instead of going for outfield help. So, you never know. Just sucks. You need pitching depth in this league. So Turnbull coming right back after he'd been in the bullpen for a long time. I don't know. Maybe that could have had an effect on it. He hadn't been pitching much. But, yeah. Hope it's not too serious. Go Phils.
Yeah, we'll see what happens after that. I definitely think there can be a correlation of him, not being in the starting rotation for a while, and then, going through a different routine because, the routine in the bullpen's definitely way different than, routine for starting a ball game. So I'm sure there definitely was some impact on that. But most likely it'll be Mercado that becomes the 5th starter for the time being, I guess, until Taijuan Walker comes back or until Spencer Turnbull's good to go. Basically, like what Rob Thompson said on Twitter, that basically just going to wait and see until what we find out tomorrow. And then in terms of, yeah, you definitely bring up a good point on the trade deadline. I don't think 5th starter would become their main priority. It'll probably become something. I'm sure they're going to go after some type of pitching depth, no doubt. But outfield definitely still is the main priority. But I wouldn't be shocked if we see Dave Dombrowski dabble into the starter market just in case for some extra pitching depth, because I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. I wouldn't be shocked at some point this year you might see a 6-man rotation just to get some of these guys in the rotation some breaks. Like, Zach Wheeler, like Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, maybe get those guys an extra day off with a 6-man rotation, but that's still some ways down the line there. I think if Mercado's had good numbers down in AAA this year, and he had a good appearance in relief on Monday, so we'll see what he is. Definitely, it's a different situation from AAA in the Major League Baseball, but we'll see. I don't think it changes their plans at the deadline. They're still going priority outfield because the outfield definitely needs some offensive production. But yeah. Definitely, we'll see what happens. Just trying to see if there's any update here on Twitter from the game besides that one thing on Spencer Turnbull. So I don't see. But we do have a Phillies Nation article right here, the latest on Spencer Turnbull from Destiny Lagardo. So might as well bring that up right now just to see what happens. So this is the entire article. It's not that long. Spencer Turnbull will undergo tests after leaving Wednesday's game against the Detroit Tigers with right shoulder soreness. Phillies manager Rob Thompson told reporters in Detroit, including the Philadelphia Inquirer Scott Lauber and the Athletics' Matt Gelb. Thompson said that Turnbull felt something in the back of his shoulder on the second to last pitch of the day, a curveball to Matt Vierling. Thompson said that the Phillies will know more about the status on Thursday after more testing is done. Don't want to take any chances. Thompson told reporters in Detroit Turnbull was removed after 3 innings in the Phillies' 6-2 win against the Tigers. Bullpen behind him only allowed 1 earned run over 6 innings. In the event Turnbull needs to miss some time, Michael Mercado will be the leading candidate to take his spot, according to Thompson. So, yeah, we'll definitely wait and see on that case. Definitely wait and see. But with the series against the Miami Marlins, pitching matchup definitely favors you. You got your 4 best starters up there on the mound: Zack Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, and Ranger Suarez. In that order, definitely should be a series that you win against this Marlins team. Harper MVP. Yeah, definitely Harper's going to fight for the MVP this year. He definitely is going to be tops there with Shohei Ohtani. I wonder how voters, if it still goes down to the wire with him and Ohtani, I wonder how voters go with the Ohtani just solely being DH. I wonder how that affects the voting process there. Yeah, Marsh definitely was the man. Yep. Dad, new mic. Yep. You helped me set this up, so you should know there's a new mic. Yep, Kev, take 2 or 3 on the road. Definitely. 100%. Am I excited for the Olympics? I watch them. I dabble into the Olympics. I'm not really hardcore into them, but, they're nice, to put on into the background for, like, during the day when there's nothing on, especially since they're overseas in Europe. They'll definitely be on during the afternoon here. So, yeah, the Olympics are definitely something nice to have on in the background while other things are going on. So it's always nice to see those. Winter Olympics are more my thing. I like the Winter Olympics a lot better, especially since there's hockey in it. Hockey guy here. If there was baseball in the Olympics, that definitely would swing maybe some interest more. But Winter Olympics have always been more my forte than Summer Olympics, but still entertaining nonetheless. So, yeah. I think that's basically it. Not really much here else on this game right here. Like I said, with Rob Thompson and Spencer Turnbull, we won't find out much until tomorrow during the day, most likely. So it's a wait-and-see process. But like I said, for the updates for this weekend, in terms of recaps, tomorrow we'll definitely have the recap after tomorrow night's game against the Marlins. Friday, like I said, that'll be NHL draft focused. So I'll be doing a live stream during that first round of the NHL draft just to see what the Flyers and Danny Briere do, whether it's trading up, whether, they stay put or something like that. Definitely going to be a very interesting Friday in terms of, rumors going around. There's definitely going to be some interesting thing there. I have a lot of intrigue on that. So Friday's Phillies recap probably won't happen. And then depending on what happens Saturday, maybe we could push it back to recap, Friday, Saturday on Sunday or something like that. Like I said, wait and see process at the end of the day. So I know the NBA draft is tonight. That's something that I completely forgot about. But I probably won't pay much attention to it because, like I said, the Sixers are completely broken this fan base right here. So that's where I'm at. Nothing in the draft they do today will probably change what I feel about them. So yeah, that's basically it. Is that a little unfair? I don't see it. I don't see it as unfair. But yeah, good series win by the Phillies today, and we'll see what happens this 4 games against Miami. Definitely push to win 3 or 4. That's what I want. That's what I demand. Win 3 or 4 against this Marlins team. So that'll do it for today, everybody. I appreciate everyone for tuning into this late afternoon stream. Nice 1 o'clock action for the Phils. And yeah, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thanks, guys.